When Chev Clarke took on Vidal Riley on Saturday, April 26th on the undercard of Eubank Jr. versus Ben, it was a battle for a position for cruiserweight contention. And now that the battle's over, we've found out that we have a new cruiserweight on deck. Let's talk about the outcome of this battle. Clarke entered his Fatal Fury matchup against Vidal Riley as a favorite. He was thought to be someone who would be able to challenge maybe later this year for the Cruiserweight title against either Jai Opetaia or Zurdo Ramirez. The UK has presented a number of fighters at the top of weight classes lately that have really been title contenders. And Clarke, even though he's coming off of a loss, a split decision loss from December to Leonardo Mosquera, was thought to be able to come into this fight and teach Vidal Riley a little bit of his junior a lesson. Well, that was not the case. What we were able to find out when these two men finally faced off is that even in the UK, skills pay the bills. Clarke was a fighter who had a reputation of being strong, had a solid chin, and had a big punch. He came into this fight with a record of 10-1 with 7 KOs. But as the quality of his opposition had increased and gained higher levels, such as the case of taking on Vidal Riley, the bouts had become a bit more difficult for him because Clarke is not a boxer. He's a fighter with a punch. Not necessarily strictly a puncher, but a fighter, because he will fight, and he has spirit, and he has the ability to get in there and wear someone else down. But when a fighter possesses skill sets, then you look at a guy differently. And Vidal Riley came into this fight looking to prove himself. Though he had been competing on the outskirts of the division, this was a step-up fight of sorts for him, kinda a national fight. And so as he entered this fight with a record of 12-0 with 7 KOs, Clarke was going to be a challenge for him. And though they are familiar with one another, there is something that was on display here that really took me by surprise. And that was Vidal Riley's ability to box and make adjustments within the fight. Though I had seen him on undercards before, when I saw Vidal Riley competing against Chev Clarke, he made Clarke look to be an elder statesman in the boxing game. I mean, even though Clarke came in with a heavy beard and a grown-out fro, he looked a lot older than his years. What I noticed also was that Vidal had mobility and moxie that no one had really given much credit to him for because of the opposition he had been facing. Only 27 years of age, the 6'1", 76.5-inch reach that he had, he optimized it to the full ability. He was able to box circles around the 34-year-old Clarke. He used footwork, feints. He was able to parry shots. He pumped his jab. He threw combinations, and he kept the fight in the center of the ring. At no time did he languish near the ropes. He kept Clarke turning and picking his feet up. You could see the frustration in Clarke after 4 rounds, that he realized that he was not necessarily going to have a good night. And I had often looked into what I was watching with these two men, thinking that Vidal Riley was giving me Jersey Joe Walcott vibes, as his mobility and his ability to shake out his combinations were very effective. The only thing he didn't do that reminded me of Jersey Joe was he didn't walk away and throw a shot, but he would step around and step to the side and gain the angles that will allow things to open up for him, and he was very effective with his punching. Clarke tried to work the body, but he was ineffective for the most part because he really couldn't get past the jab of Vidal Riley. And when Vidal decided to throw the right hand, it landed clean and flush. I would have liked to see him work in more right hands than he did, and also include a bit more body work into his arsenal, because had he landed more shots to the body, he would have been able to take some of the stamina out of Shareable Clarke and maybe wear heavily on his legs. Overall, it was the type of performance that was surprising. And now, when I look at what's next, I think about the fact that when a guy can box and he has a good jab and he's mobile and he throws punches in combination and has every punch in his arsenal, uppercuts, hooks to the body, straights, the 1-2, the 2-1, overhands, the sky is the limit. And so as Vidal Riley looks ahead, he very well may get a title shot by the end of the year or early 2026. And that will be amazing to watch, because the UK is really producing good fighters at this moment. But what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what you would like to see next from Vidal Riley. And can he win a title? Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.